Chapter 1 of the story Can You Love Me? Like, subscribe and support the book on Web Novel. The chiming of the grandfather clock sat uneasily on Yehezkel's nerves. This wasn't the first, nor was it going to be the last time he spends an entire noon at the doctor's office. The door sprang open, and he watched his doctor take a seat behind his desk. Dr. Juan Roberts, among the top in the list of best doctors. He had wined and dined with the Fions for as long as Yehezkel could remember, and yet a cure he was yet to achieve. Pause. How was your time with the nurses? Juan turned from his files and computer to the young man. Comforting, yes? He nodded. Come on, you don't have to be so dull. Hanging out almost every noon in the hospital isn't so jolly now, is it? Juan feigned a thinking expression. But you're getting better. At least, by the records, he smiled. Are we done here? Yehezkel rose to his feet carefully. Hey, Juan called out. Have fun, all right. Be careful, but have fun. He paused a bit on his words, watching the tall young man straighten out his suit while lifting up his overcoat. I would have seen you out, but I'm... He paused again, shaking his head in a sigh. Busy, they both echoed before falling into a light pause. Next week? Juan nodded. See you next week. And just like that, the tall young man walked away, out the door. He could act uptight, but Juan knew that deep down he was still a good boy, just cautious. It wasn't out of the ordinary, especially considering his situation. The first and only son of the Fions. The weight of such responsibilities Juan couldn't bear to imagine, from the companies to handle to the constant societal speculation and overview of his status, to the subtle pressures of nestling his own future family, as most are unaware of his grievous ailment. Juan had watched the boy grow up and saw how fast he had to mature to learn to take care of himself, and then his younger sister. Yehezkel sat back on the cushions of the back seat with a small sigh, while his personal assistant, Lion Dixon, worked quietly on his iPad. A quick briefing, Lion spoke, his eyes steady at his iPad. Very quick, Yehezkel shut his eyes. From the last discussion in the meeting with Mrs. Ryan Cause has decided to go forward with the deal. Some documents have been sent for you to sign. Your lawyer has gone through, made the adjustments, so the final copy is what has been sent and needs your signature. He nodded. Starlight Media, Rox Media, and Holland Media have been seeking your approval for an interview. They promise it's only a few questions in regards to speculations going on in social circles. Yehezkel sighed again. What exactly are the speculations? Something around your future plans. The merger of a sub-company under your name with that of the Rashards, leading to fueled rumors between you and the only daughter of the Rashards. Dear God. Yehezkel twirled his finger in the small between his brows. Anything for entertainment and gossip. But, sir, you are past 30. I see it's about time for your retirement. He turned to Lion, who now shot him a small smile. I mean no harm. Are there any more tasks left? He asked, looking away. Just some submitted files that need your proofing and signature. Because we head home then. In a minimalist living room, Athena walked, looking round at the plain greys and colourless art frames that sat still on the plain walls. She promised herself not to judge the owner's taste, but what she had just walked into was similar to a person with obsessive-compulsive disorder, OCD. The order at every corner of the room struck the eye like a sore thumb. Ah, she groaned.
The colour palette of the room felt strict, coarse yet quiet, with sharp edges and weak, rounded silhouettes, but she had come with an intention, a solution. Plants. The slow yet steady sound of the entrance door echoed in the room. She turned in expectance. Soon her eyes fell on the tall young man who had just walked in. Who do we have here?" he said dramatically as he feigned a confused look. "Athena Fion." She flipped her polished, long, wavy hair with sass. "The goddess of wisdom and beauty, obviously." He smiled warmly. "You're not that pretty." She turned to him, stunned at such a remark. "Why are brothers so annoying?" she thought within her before swallowing down and turning away as if looking for something while speaking in a loud mumble. "That's why you have no girlfriend. You know no taste." "Say that again," he dared her. She went quiet before changing the subject. "I'm hungry. Isn't there something to eat? I've been waiting." If you've come this far, hit the like, subscribe, and support the book on Webnovel for more content like this. Now let's get on with the novel. "You came unannounced. That's what you deserve." She turned to him in a pleading pout, and slowly he walked over and flicked her forehead. "Ow!" she winced. "Stay for dinner," he smiled down at her. "My chef brought packed food for the day. Earlier this morning." He paused, loosening his tie gently. "I'll get it done after my bath." "I'll do it," she added. She watched his body shift with discomfort at her words. "If you're worried about me getting hurt, don't," he said, somewhat sternly. "I'm not diseased, just sick." "I know," she bent to the side to meet his eyes playfully. "I can't wait for your bath, just so you know." He nodded and walked away. He was cautious, always so cautious, and Athena understood this. People thought him to be too busy with work to find a partner, but really he was just scared. Scared to depend, scared to lose control over situations, scared of being thrown back to that past of great helplessness. Athena set the table and sat quickly, sipping slowly on water while catching onto the trends through her phone. Yehezkel walked over and took a seat. "How was your day?" She put down her phone and watched him put together his cutleries before resuming to eat. "Wasn't the best of days, but was all right." She paused. "You?" "I met with Doc." He paused, shooting a glance at her mid-chew. She did same. "He says I'm getting better. By the records." "Do you believe?" He chuckled. "I used to," paused. "Not so much now." The subtle sadness from his words enveloped the cold, monochrome room, and suddenly Athena couldn't help but bite back tears, much less discuss plants. The end. If you love this piece, consider liking, subscribing, and supporting the book on Webnovel, and I'll see you in Chapter 2.